Hello, everyone. You remember Smarties, a row of multicolored, chalk-like, bite-sized candies wrapped in clear plastic. About 15 or so in a pack. Well, they're perfect for sharing. And Pastor Kevin Harney, well, he isn't a huge fan of Smarties, but when he saw little Dustin come into church with a fresh roll, he just had to ask for one. And so Dustin peeled out a piece and handed it over with a smile. From that day on, for the next couple of years, every time Dustin got a pack of Smarties, he took out the first one and set it aside for the pastor. Every Sunday morning, before the worship service, Dustin would track him down at church and offer him a Smartie. Sometimes Dustin would open a pack of Smarties during the week, but he would still save Harney the first piece. By the time Sunday came, the Smartie was a little bit rough and covered with lint, but he would never forget to bring it for him. Pastor Harney would thank him and put the candy in his pocket so that he could, enjoy it later. Sharing Smarties was kind of communion for Dustin and the pastor. Harney knew Jesus was present every time as they shared a conversation and candy. Dustin's mother viewed this ritual as a kind of tithing, a first fruits that Dustin gave to his pastor. What Harney saw was a little boy who loved to share and who understood the power of generosity. Since that time, Harney has asked himself many times, how am I doing with my Smarties? Now that's a good question for us. How are we doing with our Smarties? You see, little Dustin was imitating Jesus, whether he realized it or not. Jesus showed us that kindness should be a way of life. There's a reason kindness is listed as one of the fruit of the Spirit. It's because it is part of God's character. Jesus demonstrated kindness to the woman caught in adultery, to the 10 lepers, to the woman at the well, to the little children who came to him, and even to the 5,000 he fed with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. It's not like he had to feed them, but he had compassion for their situation. He cared about their physical needs as well as their spiritual needs. Over and over again, Jesus showed kindness to people. If we claim to be his followers, then we must be like him. Ephesians 4:32 tells us, be kind and compassionate to one another. Kindness comes out of our love for others. We often quote the commandment Jesus said was just as important as loving God. That is, to love our neighbor as ourselves. But he later changed that into a new commandment, to love one another as he has loved us. He loved us with a sacrificial love, not caring even about his own life. He also told us that if we want to be his disciple, we must deny ourselves, take up our cross daily, and follow him. Now, we usually think of the cross as a burden to bear, too often equating it with some of our everyday problems. That lessens the meaning of the cross. When Jesus took up his cross, it was to make a sacrifice for what we need. So taking up our cross is making a sacrifice so that others might have their needs met. That can be our time, our money, or our abilities. When we do that, we are following Jesus and being kind and compassionate, just as he is. So in this time of stay-at-home and social distancing, how can we show kindness to one another? I know that here in Bracken County, as well as other places around the state and our country, people are stepping up to help one another. But let me suggest a couple of ways we can show kindness. First, there are several older people in our congregation and in our communities who have been in their homes alone for over 2 weeks and will be for the foreseeable future. Many don't have internet or smartphones. I know that they would love a call to just chat, to have some kind of social interaction with people. Why don't we pick up our phones and actually talk to someone? It could make a lonely time a little less lonely. Then yesterday, Karen and I went to Walmart and were surprised to see the shelves so empty. The only reason we went is because we did the click list at Kroger and we weren't able to get all of our items. So we went to Walmart to get some of those things. And when we got there, there were very few left. And so my first instinct was to take all that they had. And that brings me to my second act of kindness. When the store only has a few items, be sure to leave some for others. Yes, that may mean you may not have all you want or think that you need, but you will have some, and someone else will have some too. Also, just because you can purchase enough for a month, there are many others who don't have the financial means to do so. So let's be kind and be willing to be inconvenienced or even sacrifice to make sure others have what they need. It's what Jesus would do. Dennis from Katy, Texas needed some same-day dry cleaning before he left on a trip. He remembered a store with a huge sign, 1-hour dry cleaners, on the other side of town. So he drove there to drop off a suit. After filling out the tag, he told the clerk, "I need this in an hour." She said, "I can't get this back to you until Thursday." "I thought you did dry cleaning in an hour." "No," she replied, "that's just the name of the store." Likewise, we who say we are Christians, but fail to act like the one whose name we bear, create confusion and disillusionment for those who have yet to believe. When we love others the way Jesus has loved us, when we sacrifice so that others may have what they need, then we reflect our Lord's character and show the world his kindness and compassion. It's been good to be with you today. Hope you'll take care, be safe, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Until then, God bless.